All right, welcome everybody to another Meaningful Monday. And I'm very excited about this particular topic because I'm really hoping that I'm going to change your perception on the word failure completely. Completely. I want you to not even see it as whatever you thought the definition was before. And that's my intention for tonight. So for those people who are new to Meaningful Monday, first of all, very warm welcome. Just to tell you what it is, it's a free webinar on the first Monday of every month. And the purpose is just to raise awareness on how we can live more empowered lives, how we can take charge of our lives, how we can create our success, fulfill our dreams, really do what we want to do, create the life of our own design. And we can all do that. And by the way, whether you're aware of it or not, you are creating your reality every second of the day, whether you're aware of it or not, with your thoughts and your feelings. So hopefully with more awareness and more education, you will be able to create your reality by being mindful and guiding your thoughts and your emotions to create what you want. So tonight is really a fantastic topic, dealing with failure. Why is this such a good topic? Because everybody has failure. Everybody has failure from time to time. No one is excluded. And one thing is for sure, nobody likes it. No one likes it. And I don't think that's ever going to change. So people don't even like to really talk about it. And especially if it's ourselves, unless you've got a very close friend. Otherwise, we don't really say anything. So we've really got a strong belief system created, all of us, around failure. And I'm hopefully want to change that for you tonight to view it in quite a different way. So if you want to ask questions at any time, please just jump in and ask. And then at the end, I'll just also do a guided short meditation of 15 minutes. And just before that, let you know of some upcoming events of what I'm busy doing. If you'd like to join anything, you're welcome. You've got any questions, you can ask. All right, so let's jump into this dealing with failure. I wanted to leave the microphones on, and I want as many people to answer this as possible. And I'm going to get my pen here and actually make notes. Just in your own mind, what is failure? Don't look it up, just top of your mind. How can you define it? Just define it for me in your own words.
When we fail to meet an expectation that either we or somebody else has set for us.
That's exactly right. Fail to meet an expectation. Yep, that's actually in the dictionary. So you are spot on, Jayanti. Very good. Yes, that's one way to define failure. What else is there?
When the results that we are looking for, they do not show up.
Exactly. The results that we want.
Exactly. The results that we want don't appear, or they are the contrary.
Yep. So they either don't appear, or we come short of them, or we miss them, whatever it may be. Yes. What else?
Emotionally, we feel worthless or frustrated.
Okay, now you see, this is very interesting.
Or I would say disappointed as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so was it Margot who just spoke there before Anna?
Margot first.
Yes, so Margot, just repeat that for me, because that was really very, very well said and quite important to put on the table.
I said that emotionally we feel worthless, or we can feel frustrated also.
Okay, so what I like about what she said, what Margot said was, I like it because she brought out emotion. So you can see that there's a measurement to failure. You want to have 10 and you don't get 10, you get 5. So, or you get 4 or 3, whatever, but you didn't hit the mark. So that's one way in terms of measurement. But the way Margot is explaining failure, she's emotionally feeling worthless, or emotionally feeling frustrated, is also a sign of failure. So I want to welcome Jackie, who joined, and I think Dolly, who joined as well. Just warm welcome there. Any other definitions of failure?
Fail to reach our goals.
To not reach your goals.
Yes.
Yep, that's also exactly put in the dictionary. That's a dictionary definition, exactly like that. So very good. You and Jayanti, you can write the next dictionary. Any other definitions of failure?
I don't know the definition, Janine, but something more around expectations and not being able to, or expecting to meet them but not meeting them.
100%, yep. And that's exactly how it's written in the dictionary, by the way. And Jayanti, just before you came on, Jackie said the same thing. So that's exactly right. Hello, Dolly. Nice to see you. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. So are there any other definitions or just the way that you personally think or define failure?
It's also something that is viewed very badly from society. Like, if you fail at something, you're afraid of how you're gonna look like, or how it's gonna be perceived.
Thank you. That's very important. I'm just making a note here. Yes, Dolly, did you want to say?
Some people blame other people for their own failures.
Yes. Now, this is coming up tonight. Exactly what you said, Dolly, about blame. Definitely, we're going to address that. So thank you for raising it. And Margot, what Margot? Sorry?
No, I wasn't here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, great. What Margot said is really very, very important. Failure is as a society construct or as a human construct, we've created this thing called failure. And yes, it is viewed negatively. How it came to be, I can't answer that. I don't know. But it is viewed negatively. And it's a perception issue. And the other thing that Margot said is we're often afraid. We're afraid to fail. There's no doubt that people are afraid of failure because they're afraid of criticism. It's one of the strongest fears of a human being is the fear of criticism, the fear of being judged. They say a person is so afraid of criticism or making a fool of themselves that they would rather at a funeral be in the coffin than the one saying the eulogy. Like that's afraid people of, like of public speaking and making a mistake. So these are very real things that everyone's brought up. And if anyone wants to add anything, you can just add it at any time. What I'm going to just share with you now is just a kind of thread which I hope to change the viewpoint. If you think about a baby that's learning to walk, is there any guesses how many times, just on average, they reckon a baby falls before it learns to walk? Not really. No one? Okay.
1,000.
Okay, 1,000. Now that's a really good guess. Now let's just think about it for a second. Would you or I honestly get something wrong 10 times and keep going, 20 times and keep going, 30 times and keep going, let alone 100 times and keep going? Alejandro said 1,000. Would you or I really do something 1,000 times and fail the 1,000th time and get up and do it again? Mm-hmm. Just think about your own life, because the answer is how many times a baby falls down on average. The answer is 5,000 times.
Wow.
5,000 times. Now, why I want to pause on this and this picture is the way you came into this world was to explore, experiment, and learn through doing, not intellectually. We don't really learn anything much through intellectually. And this is proven from our very first, excuse the pun, steps. The very first steps we take in life, we fall down, we fall down, we fall down. But we're too young to understand the word failure. We're too young to understand it as a perception issue or a construct issue. We're not even aware of criticism at this stage. So that's why the baby keeps getting up. Can you imagine if this baby was like we are as adults now and fell down? I don't know. Some people don't try after doing something once. Do you know that? Did you know that the average person stops trying after failing once? This is in the book Think and Grow Rich. It says it. The majority of people give up after the first failure. So some people, we look at them as saying they're so persistent. This guy's tried this thing 3 times. Or he's tried to start a new business 4 times or 7 times. We think that's a lot. If a baby had that example and fell down 100 times or 200 times, can you imagine if it said, I don't think this is for me? Imagine. I don't really, this doesn't seem to work. I just keep failing at this. I don't think it's for me. So this analogy is important for you in your life. Always come back to this, because this is not a story of somebody else. You yourself fell approximately 5,000 times before you learned to walk, and you walk today successfully. So just touch yourself, that you say, yeah, me too. I fell 5,000 times, more or less, and then I learned to walk. Why do I want you to remember this? Because it's a process. Failure is not really a true anything. It's a human construct that's been created, and a word that we've kind of invented when things don't work out the way we want them to work out. So, you know, luckily a baby doesn't think of themselves as a failure every time they fall down. Otherwise, they would never be walking today. The same as talking. Boy, they take 2 years on average to learn to speak properly. Keep trying. So failure doesn't really exist. It only exists to those who are more concerned with appearing to be successful. So it comes back to what Margot was saying when she said, we afraid to fail. People are so concerned with what other people think that they try to avoid failure. Now, if you avoid failure, you are going to slow down, growing to your maximum potential and living a better life than you have today. And this is why I said I want to change your perception, if I can, on failure. So what happens with human beings is we tend to view these two things as separate: achievement on this side and failure on this side. The minute we separate these two things and see them as different, then achievement means you're right and failure means you're wrong. Now, if we see failure in this way, it's very, very dangerous. Why? Because the key to growth is to set goals outside your comfort zone, to achieve things that you cannot do today. That's growth. If you all think about your lives and you really want your lives to be in a better place, don't think about a goal for the next 6 months that you've got, or a goal for the next year even. Think about your highest vision for your life and what you would really dream of having happen in your life. Okay, I'll just come to Jackie's question in a second. If you think about the dream life that you want to get to, if you do things only inside your comfort zone, or that you know you can do with success and succeed, well, you're not going to stretch yourself very far. And if you stay within your comfort zone, all you're going to get are the same results. You're going to get the same results over and over and over again. So if you really want to get out there, you have to go beyond your comfort zone. And I can tell you this as a most likely probable fact. If you are going for goals that are way outside your comfort zone, you will make mistakes. You will make mistakes. You don't know how to do that thing yet, and you don't know how to do it very well. So it's okay. And not only is it okay to make mistakes, not only is it okay to fail, it's necessary. It's a necessary requirement to succeed and grow. And when we do that outside our comfort zone and actually make mistakes, what happens is we get practical learning, we get practical experience on how to improve, and it takes us closer and closer to our actual goals that are far outside our comfort zone. So therefore, failure is actually the real win. Seriously, failure is the real win. It's taking you closer to your goals because you're learning a lot, practically. And success is actually detrimental, because if we do things that we know for sure we're going to always succeed, we're not going very far outside of our current circumstances and our current comfort zone. So the thing about failing and making mistakes is you gain an enormous amount of working knowledge. And when you think of people that you know and you look at them and they're successful and in their industry or whatever, you say, geez, this person has mastered their craft. You've heard that term. They've mastered their craft. They really know their stuff. How did they actually get there? Did they get there from just studying it in a book and becoming great? I mean, think about sport is a very good example. You can read a book on golf all day long, every day for 10 years. You got no idea how to hit a golf ball until you pick up the club and swing it and see where it goes and play, like 9 holes or 18 holes. And that's the way we should deal with life, is to actually have success and failure. Just welcome whoever joined on the telephone there. So I just want to say very warm welcome. So here's a question from Jackie. Janine, can I ask about source telling us that we're on the wrong path versus self-determination and keep on trying? Excellent question. I struggle in my knowing in this space. Oh my goodness, this is an excellent question. I cannot tell you what a good question. So what Jackie's saying is, how do we know when we're actually on the wrong path in life, yet we keep on persisting there and banging and banging and banging, versus being persistent? The only way I can answer Jackie is this way. You always, this is for me personally, if someone has another opinion, please do share it. You always persist. You always persist until you get your goal. What happens is when you're on the wrong path and you're going for this thing, doors will close. And when doors close, you have no option but to go in a slightly different direction, but keep persisting. When you go there, another door will close, but you keep on persisting. And it's in that navigation that you will actually come to find your path. Now, you use the word your path. I'm going to use the word your life purpose. I actually wrote a book, it's over here, Living in the Flow, a guide to discovering your purpose and value. And I tell that story, Jackie, in this book. There was a time where I wanted to leave my corporate job after my brother had passed away and follow my dream. And somewhere in the mix of things, I got an opportunity to potentially work for Google. And at that stage, it was like, oh, I've hit the big time. Google, like, all I can do is bow, Google. And I wanted that job so badly. And a part of me knew that if I did get the job, it takes about a year to settle in and become good and proficient. But that's not really consistency. It takes about 2 years to prove that you're a consistently successful individual in a company. So it'll keep me in the company at least 2 years. And then you obviously want to keep scoring some goals and get further. So if I took that job, I would have delayed finding my true purpose by going there. But the doors closed on me, and they closed on me without proper explanation. They kept it, but I kept going forward. And through that and a myriad of circumstances and events, I came to the perfect opportunity for me, which allowed me to leave corporate, to work for myself, follow my dream, and then build the business that I really want to be in, which is speaking, training, and coaching. So I would still say, even in that picture, you keep persisting. And when the doors close, you still keep moving forward. You don't give up and say, well, I'm going to stay in corporate. Because I never did that. I looked for something else and something else. And luckily, as these doors were closing, my intuition really told me it's not meant for you. So I always have this notion that when doors close, it's because something better is coming. It's not because life is treating you hard or being bad to you. Something better is coming. And I just have that as a philosophy. So I accepted it with gratitude, but I kept stepping forward and looking for the right thing. And through that, I actually got confidence and like this desire well up inside me to keep moving forward. And eventually I found the right opportunity to sell investment property. And that's how I left corporate. And then to also at the same time, which I'm still doing property today, is to do speaking, training, and coaching. So your question is very valid. The bottom line is keep persisting, keep moving forward. Don't ever stop and stay where you are. That's all I can say. Okay, I hope that answered your question. And if anyone else has got something different to add on that, please do so. But the universe does often guide us. And when it guides us, it's guiding us for something better. Just believe that. Someone else has joined. Okay, so when Margot said earlier, we fear failure. We do fear failure, and it's a real fear. And it's something that's very difficult to just say, oh, don't fear failure. Just don't fear it. And they say, okay, great, I won't. It doesn't work that way. If it worked that way, we would all be amazing. We have to actually conquer fear. So it's a work in progress, but it is necessary for us because if you see your journey in terms of success and failure, as I said, as two separate things, then to be honest with you, I'm going to tell you this, you've already kind of set yourself up for failure, because you become disconnected from a process like this baby of becoming successful. When we separate success and failure and say, well, if I don't get success, then I'm not doing it again. It's a failure. It's not for me. I'm going to try something else. We then take these as, we separate this where they actually should be kind of on top of each other, and you must rather view it as a process to improve. So don't be more concerned with looking good and always being a person who's achieving, appearing successful. Rather be concerned with gaining, working knowledge in your craft, and knowing that if you're going to gain expertise, it's going to be messy, and that means there's going to be quite a bit of failure there. Welcome, Sachin. Just saw you joined there. So I love Thomas Edison, probably for the same reason that you think I put this quote up there. Thomas Edison invented the light bulb, as you probably know, and he failed not once, not twice, not 1,000 times, not even like the baby 5,000 times. He failed twice as many times as the baby. He failed 10,000 times, but then he succeeded. And his own quote, which I haven't got here, but his own quote is, I never failed 10,000 times. I worked out 9,999 or approximately there, whatever it was, ways in which it doesn't work. So he kept gaining knowledge and more knowledge and more knowledge. And if you think about it, if he never did that, how long would it have taken for that invention to have come about? We don't know. But he got there because he persisted. So his quote, many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. And if I can give you a piece of advice, is to get rid of the word failure in your own vocabulary. Get it out of your mouth, get it out of your life, and get it out of the words you use. Never consider anything as failure. Failure doesn't actually exist. It only exists if you quit. If you stop and give up, yes, then it's a failure. Then you've been knocked down and you're never going to get up. But as it says here, when people are so close, when they're so close to success, when they actually stop, that's failure. So they say if you fall down 7 times, get up 8. If you fall down 4,000 times, get up 4,001 times, and you will succeed. So I wanted to start off this presentation talking about the definition of failure, and I want you to define it in different terms. I want you to define it as a necessary part of the process of achievement, of getting to your real goals in your life, not just the small goals that are close to your comfort zone where you know you're going to do well. So the thing to also note is success. It's not like you get successful and then you just sit back and go, well, that's it now. I'm done. I've achieved. There it is. I don't have to do another thing. It doesn't work that way. Success is not final. The same way as failure is not final, is also not fatal. All failure is temporary. All of it is temporary. So success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. And the word is courage, because you're going to face a lot of criticism and you're going to also face a lot of self-doubt. And that is where it takes courage, because what you actually have to end up doing is conquering yourself and the own negative voices in your head. And then Jackie says, I fear rejection more than failure. Absolutely. Rejection tends to only happen with failure. It doesn't often happen with success. That's very true, Jackie. And also the fear of rejection, which is also from the fear of criticism, is man's greatest fear. Man is more afraid of that than he is of actually dying. This is what they have come to claim or prove. It's so been said that people are more afraid of rejection, more afraid of criticism than they are of death. So in the book Think and Grow Rich, which Alejandra has been in the mastermind, I'm not sure if anyone else here is been in that same mastermind. But at the end of the book is a chapter called The Six Ghosts of Fear. And Napoleon Hill emphasizes that there is no alternative to true success and fulfilling your potential in life without conquering your fears. And that one that you've mentioned there, Jackie, is the number one. It's there's two. The fear of poverty and the fear of criticism are the two worst fears that a man can have. And rejection is the same as criticism. It's the same place in our brain. So we have to overcome it. And it's actually one of the points I'm going to mention tonight is one of the keys to dealing with failure is somehow, some way, you have to change your dialogue on that, or your, what's the word, your narrative in your own life, that you fear rejection or you fear what people think, and just say, I will accept if people reject me because I failed, but I'm going to do what I want to do for my own life and for my success and fulfilling my dream. And I accept it as it comes. The right people will stick with me and the wrong people won't. And I'll accept that. So you have to come to a new narrative and a new viewpoint for yourself. The same as one of the other fears is the fear of loss of love. Napoleon Hill just says you have to come to accept that if you are alone, you will live and you'll be fine. And it's up to you to make yourself happy. Or if some people have a fear of poverty, to say, well, you're going to come to a conclusion that you're going to be happy with whatever money you are able to make, and you will work out on how to get by, and you'll accept it. So once you do that up front, you kind of don't have all that fear anymore, just kind of dissipates. So no matter what it is, we have to overcome our fear. Otherwise, you are literally imprisoned, and the only person who can free you from that prison is yourself. And you're the one holding the key, but you'll stay in that prison and never free yourself if you don't conquer fear. And as this quote says of Ralph Waldo Emerson, our greatest glory is not in never failing. It's in rising up every time we fail. That's where the glory lies. I was reading, preparing for this, how many people had failed, it's like 7 times for a particular sport award, and it took them years. Some person went back to the Olympics 3 times. That's a period of 12 years, and the person finally won gold. That is 12 years. The person had the same, he would not give up. So, you see, the greatest glory is not in never failing. The person did fail. They didn't fail once, they failed twice. They got up again, they trained for another 4 years, and they went back. But then they succeeded. So, when I said don't separate failure and success, because this will cause you to set yourself up for failure, you have to merge them and say it's a process. Failure is part of the process of success. Margot says, so to conquer our fear of failure, we have to master our inner dialogue. Yes, we have to master our own inner dialogue and just say, I'm going to create a new philosophy or a new belief for my life. Let me just tell you this, hand on heart. I'm an absolute, I confess, I was a person totally opposed to failure as a child, as a teenager, as an adult, in my 20s, in my 30s, in my 40s. I did not want to fail. I used to do whatever it took to make sure I'd succeed. If it was starting something new, I would work so hard, study so hard to make sure that I'd succeed. I used to want to avoid failure. In 2012, when I joined the John Maxwell team, John Maxwell was talking about failure as he said, you will fail your way to success. He said, if you're going to be afraid of failure and try to avoid it, you are going to limit the height that you can achieve in your life. You're going to just bring that ceiling right down. If you want to go far, he said, just get over it. You're going to fail. Accept it. The first time you do something new, you're never going to be that good at it. Nor the second time, nor the third. But if you keep going back and doing it again, you're going to get better and better and better. John Maxwell today is rated as one of the top 3 speakers in the world. And he said when he started, he wasn't any good. He really wasn't any good. But he can say that now, but he's spoken over 12,000 times to audiences, huge audiences, 12,000 times. So it's all about re-engaging in the process and improving every time. So the last sentence here at the bottom, it says, failure is not the opposite of success. This is what I want to change as a viewpoint or a philosophy for you. So if you're making notes, write that down. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Merge the two. It's part of the process of getting better. excuse me. It says here, acknowledge irrational beliefs about failure. You may have developed some irrational beliefs about failure at some point in your life. I mean, I sure did. Perhaps you think failure means you're bad, or that you'll never succeed, or maybe that no one will like you. That's the thing. We have to come to terms with the fact that in your life, there are always going to be people who may not like you. And you have to say, well, that's okay. The most important thing is that you like yourself. If you like yourself, you'll find more people like you than you would actually want people to like you if you try to please them. When you are trying to just like yourself and what you're doing is in line with your values, in alignment with your own dreams, and you're true to yourself, you're doing what you want to do and what you really love to do, you will be a better person altogether, and people will just like you more because you're more authentic. Don't ever try to do anything to get people to like you, because then you're not being yourself. So those types of beliefs are inaccurate, and they can prevent you from doing things where you might fail. And that's a dangerous place to be, because what does that mean? If you're going to avoid things or prevent you from doing things where you might fail, what does that mean? Who can answer me? What does it mean for your life if you're going to avoid doing things where you might fail? What's the result? Alejandra.
You will have a limited life. You're not going to grow. So you will be always more or less down there.
There, Alejandra, 100%, she nailed it. You'll live a mediocre life. Not only will you not achieve much, you won't try much. And you really won't feel that much alive. The truth is, the feeling of being alive and really full of life, that really enjoying life, like you engaged in this amazing adventure and journey called life, is when you're living at the edge of your comfort zone. To live fully inside your comfort zone is actually a dangerous place, because you're not changing much and the world is changing around you. So in theory, you're going backwards. And if anything disrupts your comfort zone, you have such a shock. You could have a nervous breakdown. You could become depressed. You could fall apart. I don't know what, but you are less resilient. People who live at the edge of their comfort zone are very resilient. People who keep testing and trying things and open themselves up to failure because they're going to be prepared to learn from it as a process become more and more resilient. So it helps us cope. And also, you don't live a mediocre life, as Alejandra said. You will achieve much, much more, because you're giving out more and you're attempting more and you're getting out more. And from that, the return is going to be better. So I'm going to go through 5 ways to deal with failure. The first one is just recognize and accept your emotions. You're going to fail. Everybody does. Every single person at some point in time has a failure. Things go wrong. They don't work out. They're not what you expected them to be. It could be a relationship. It could be something at work. It could be, I don't know, anything that you're aiming towards achieving. It could be a financial thing. It doesn't have to be. But even in relationships, you know, even the term a failed marriage, I was thinking about this when I was preparing for this presentation and thinking, is that really an accurate term, a failed marriage? Or is it a human construct? Or a failed relationship, for example? I don't want to be commenting on whether it's right or wrong, but I think the word failed relationship is probably too negative and casts a kind of shadow on the whole thing, that that there was something wrong with you or both of you or whatever it was. Whereas a relationship that's not working is not working. And sometimes it is necessary for people to part ways for the better of both people. And in that case, is it really a failure, or is it actually a blessing in disguise? They've learned something, hopefully, and they're going to better, whatever it may be. So just the word failure, it does hurt. So recognize and accept your emotions is going to hurt. I would say don't dwell on it for too long. Do take a day or two, if something has happened and you feel terrible, to take that day or two and feel the emotions. No one likes them, but you need to actually feel them so that you can process them. But don't try and process them by, I don't know, watching TV to escape, going to movies, drinking alcohol, socializing, over socializing, to try and get away from it. Sit and process the emotions. And I would recommend journaling. Journaling how it is that you feel, but more importantly, what it is that you learned through that process. So again, merge that separation between success and failure and bring it together and see it as a process. And the most important thing is, don't blame yourself and beat yourself up. It's going to break down your self-esteem. It's going to make you feel worse. And that is no way to get back up on your feet and do better if you beat yourself up. The most important voice is your own voice. Okay, so take the day or two, there it says, feel the pain, and then pick yourself up and move on. The second thing is, don't make it personal. This is why people fear failure, is because they view it as me. I'm a failure if I fail. So it says here, one reason why some people find failure devastating is that their identity is tied up in succeeding. Success and failure are not intrinsic parts of you. They're not part of your identity. No part of your identity should be, I am a success or I am a failure. No, the experience or the project or the work that you're doing or the task that you're carrying out either worked or didn't work. That experience is what it was. It wasn't you that was a failure. So you're the one who's busy learning. You, not the actual event itself. And we need to separate that. So in other words, when they fail, they see themselves as a failure rather than perceiving that they've experienced a setback in their life. So don't see it as personal. See it as something that you experience. And this thing that you experience out here doesn't change you, your value, who you are as a person. It should make you wiser. But the person that you are and your personal value, that doesn't change. It was an experience, and keep that experience out there. So always think of your outcome in terms of a process of gaining working knowledge of your craft or learning from trial and error. So it's an experience, but it's not you personally. The third one is, here we come to what Jackie was saying earlier, don't worry what anyone else will think. You have to kick this fear out of your life. You really do. There's some very close friends of mine, and the one thing that I've said to my one friend more than anything else is, you have to stop caring what people think if you want to be happy, because it's very true. If you're going to care about what other people think, and you're going to let that govern your behaviors and what you try and what you don't try, and how you feel about yourself if you succeed or fail, you will never be happy, because you'll never be living your own life. And the second thing is, they say, what someone else thinks of you is none of your business, really. So you can't control what other people think. That's out of your control. But measuring ourselves by other people's standards is very dangerous. That can lead to anxiety. That can lead to unhappiness. So that quote I love. It says, in the end, people will judge you anyway. They're going to judge you anyway. So don't bother yourself with what they're thinking. Just get out of your head. Worry about what you think of yourself, and that's it. So don't live your life to impress others. Live your life impressing yourself. The only person you should care about is yourself, what you think of yourself. Work on your own self-image and your own self-esteem. And self-esteem means self-respect. Have respect for yourself, approve of yourself, and the fact that you try things that are potentially going to fail so you can learn from them, you should praise yourself for that. You should feel good about yourself for that, because you know why? 98% of the population won't. So if you'll do it, it means that you are more courageous. So never do something, never do something simply because it's going to please or impress other people. Just do things because you want to achieve something, and you're prepared to learn through the process, and you're going to make mistakes, and you're okay with that, and you're going to improve. Number 4, take the right amount of responsibility. So who can tell me what is the right amount of responsibility? How much is it? How much responsibility should we take for our success or failure?
We have to be 100% responsible, you know, accepting, you know, that things could be either way.
You see, Alejandro, if I had a prize here, I'd give it to you, but you through the Zoom, so I can't get it through the camera, but you get the prize. Yes, 100% responsibility. Absolutely. Okay, yes, ownership is not playing the victim. Thank you very much. So I'll talk about the victim quickly. We all know people in our lives that are very, very quick, just like this, to blame people when they fail or when they haven't succeeded in what they want. It can be kids playing sport or even adults, actually. They say, oh, the referee was biased, or, you know, something there, or the boss doesn't like me. That's why I couldn't really get a promotion. The boss doesn't like me. That's why I couldn't get any further and get the right job. Or some people say, even blaming their illness is another one. If I hadn't been so ill, I could have achieved more. So what's important to recognize is that external factors have affected your success. You should not and you must not blame yourself for anything that's outside of your control. So if it was like coronavirus stopped people traveling and you couldn't go to another city where you had some event that was going to be part of your success and you missed that, in that example, it was outside of your control. As long as you tried whatever you could, but you had to be there in person, let's just say for this example, then you can't blame yourself and beat yourself up. However, it's important to recognize what you yourself could have done to improve matters in every kind of example, even the one when I said you can't travel with coronavirus. Always say to yourself, okay, is there something else I could have done? Is there something I did that you know, left this open to not being so not being the right outcome that I wanted? Or let's say you failed at something. We have to be honest with ourselves and say, did I prepare well enough? If you never got a job for a job interview, yes, it's going to happen. You're not going to get every single job interview that you go for. That's okay. It's still worth evaluating afterwards. Did I prepare well enough? Did I review my resume as best I could? Whether you were going to get it and you get it or you're not, especially if you didn't. Because what does that do? It helps you improve yourself, keep on reflecting and improve and improve and improve. If it's something to do with sport, ask yourself, could you have trained harder? Could you have done, you know, more hours in whatever it is that you were doing? Did you prepare in the best possible way for whatever it is? These are really important questions and we need to be honest with ourselves, and I'll tell you why. We have a habit sometimes of not putting in our very best because we fear that if we do our very, very best and we still fail, then we're a failure. So at a subconscious level, we do a half-hearted job. And then when we fail, it's like, oh, it's okay. I didn't really give my best. I'm saying to you, no. No matter the circumstance, no matter what you're going for, give it your 100% best. And even then you may fail. And then still then evaluate, what could I have done better? What did I learn from this so that I can improve myself? This is how you grow to your maximum potential. And this is the last thing I want to add is, I learned this saying and I love it. It says, effort is never wasted. Effort is never wasted. So take 100% responsibility and always do your best, regardless. Don't think I think I'm going to fail, so I'm not going to give it my all. No, always give your best. And then I've just got these few questions here. Anything in your life that goes wrong, it's worth taking 100% responsibility and asking yourself these questions. What did I say or not say that created that result? What did I do or not do to create that result? How did I get the other person to act that way? What was I thinking or feeling? What were my beliefs? How did I create that? What do I need to do differently to get the results I want? Also, when it comes to relationships, Esther Perel is probably the world authority on relationships. I don't know. That's what I think. She's written the most books. She's out there doing the most seminars. She's a really interesting woman. And she always says, for people to have a successful relationship, I just want you to answer. What percentage let's say I'm in a relationship with someone else. What percentage responsibility do I take for the success of this relationship?
50.
50.
50-50.
Anybody else? Any other answers? Margot said 100. Yes, it's 100. Esther Perel says, in the relationship that you're in, if it's working or not working, happy or sad, you take 100% responsibility for the relationship. Does that mean the other person's off the hook? No. That person, and it's your relationship, so have the conversation if you haven't had it before. They take 100% responsibility. You can't say, I'm not happy in this relationship, and you this and you that. That's blame. That gets back to that victim mentality. So no matter the circumstance in your life, take 100% responsibility. And that's where these questions come in. What do I need to do differently to get the results I want? We're not here to try to change people. We're here to change ourselves and learn and grow and hopefully improve. Now for the very last one. I ask you, what is the purpose of failure? The purpose. It serves a purpose. What is the purpose of failure? Now that I've explained, let these two worlds merge into one. To grow. Great. Any others?
To learn.
To learn. I'm going to just write these down. To grow. Yep, you will grow. To learn.
Practice makes you perfect.
Well, I say practice makes improvement. You can always better your best. But yes, practice makes improvement. So that you learn something. So if you learn something, the purpose of failure, you learn something. What's the purpose of learning something? If you, let's say you don't apply it, was there any value there?
Grow.
Grow, we've got grow. Any others? I've got here to know what doesn't work. Yes, it's important to know what doesn't work because you learned something. So we're back to learning, to take a different path. Potentially, Jackie, to take a different path. But there's actually a purpose. There's a value. Maybe let me change the word. What's the valuable purpose of failure? It serves a valuable purpose.
Makes you stronger as well.
It does make you stronger. Yes, stronger. That's
improves your level of awareness.
Improves. Even if you said just the word improves, that's the purpose of failure is to improve. So you're right there, Alejandra. The failure is the most valuable thing for you to improve. Now, if you viewed it that way, we would not avoid it, we would not fear it as much, and we would not judge ourselves and forget about other people judging us and engage in life, try more things, be more adventurous, give more things a go, look at everything in terms of test and learn, test and learn. That's what I call it, a test and learn. Some work, some don't, test and learn. But every time you do it, if you can extract learning from it, like you said, you grow, you're correct. You learn, you grow, you practice. Dolly's right. The more you do it, the better you get. You practice, you get better, you get stronger, and you improve. That's how you become successful. That's how you actually grow and use more of your potential. This is from John Maxwell. He says, a man must be big enough to admit his mistakes, smart enough to profit from them, and strong enough to correct them. You see, when we improve, we have to apply the learning. We can't just have it as intellectual knowledge. Here's another one. The difference between average people and achieving people is their perception of failure and their response to failure. I cannot emphasize enough. Your perception of failure must change if you want to be more successful. You have to get rid of the word, stop viewing it as failure, tell yourselves as a test and learn so I can improve and get better. Don't separate, I got it right, I got it wrong. The minute you separate them, you are causing yourself to step back and try less things. Bring them together and say they're part of the success road. Failure is part of the road to success. The more I fail, the more I learn. The more I learn, the better I get. So that's important. So here's the pattern. This actually comes from John Maxwell, from Developing the Leader Within You. In one of the chapters in Attitude, John actually insists that you find a project that you're most likely going to fail in. And he says, please do it. You must do it. You must take on this project with the likeliness that you're going to fail. Not that you're going to make yourself fail. You're going to try to succeed, but it's got a likelihood of failing. And he said, you must go through this whole cycle. And there's a way of evaluating. So you put this thing out and you consider it a test. Then you fail. He says, great. Now you've got real material to learn how to use failure to improve in your life. And from that, you get the learning. Then you don't just leave it there. You have to take the learning and actually apply it in your life and integrate it in your life. And then you re-enter with this new improvement and you test again. And so you go round and round. If this is what you did, you'd be very, very successful. Very successful. I love this. This is just something from Michael Jordan. He said, I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. And just think of this, 26 times he was trusted to take the game-winning shot, and he missed it 26 times. That's embarrassing. That's like failure. So he said, I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that's why I succeeded. So you can believe it. If the guy never did that, he never had all of that, he couldn't have achieved the level that he achieved. He needed all that experience. So when Dolly says practice, that's true, it's practice. Jackie, Janine, can you chat on people who seem to be successful but achieve the results at the cost of others? Trump, for some people, is an extreme example of this. He succeeds but hurts many people in the process. Okay, I won't comment on Trump, but people who succeed at the expense of others. Well, that's not very nice. The way that I get peace of mind on a thing like that is karma is real. It really is. There's something called the law of cause and effect. The law of cause and effect is a universal law, and karma is literally the law of cause and effect. It's just got another name. So my suggestion would be, take no notice of those people. Don't have them close in your life if that's the kind of people that they are and you not. So if you're not like that and they are like that, you out of alignment with, they are out of alignment with your values. And the minute you're out of alignment with your values with someone, that relationship will not last, will not work, will never be a success. You are bound to part ways. The same as if your values are out of alignment with a company, you will leave the company or your job or whatever if you're out of alignment. So if people who use other people, that's not in line with your values, stay away from them. But also don't worry about them and think and let them rent any time in your head, you know, or live in your head rent free, should I say, because honestly, what goes around comes around, whether it's in this lifetime or another. What you do to anybody, you actually do to yourself. It might not happen this week, this month, but I'm a firm believer in the law of cause and effect, and what you put out there comes directly back to you in some way, shape, or form, equally. So, yeah, don't spend too much time worrying about those people. That's my best advice there. Focus on yourself and how you can improve and how you can look after yourself, make yourself happy, and go for your dreams and achieve what you want. And you do that by self-improvement. Yeah, and if they've done something personally to you to hurt you, I'm going to add this, which may not be the most appetizing suggestion. You need to come to a place of forgiveness. You must. Everybody who's listening here. Forgiveness is such a necessary ingredient for success. It's not in this webinar tonight, but forgiveness is an essential part of more prosperity, more money, better relationships, more spirituality, more love in your life, for people loving you. I mean, forgiveness is, it's not a bonus, it's a necessity. And if people have hurt you and used you somehow, some way, you need to address that. And Jackie, you're a silver graduate, so the laboratory and counselor is a very good way. And the graduate workshops 4x4, we have forgiveness on every couple of weeks, we come back to forgiveness. So if you have anyone here has something to do with forgiveness, join that one and make sure that you address it and open your heart and free that. That's a heavy weight you're carrying that's weighing you down for your own success in life, and it's not worth it. Okay, just quickly, some quick famous people, and they failed so much. Abraham Lincoln failed 3 times in business. He failed his campaign 7 times. Many people wouldn't go back to politics to campaign after failing once or twice. He went back 7 times. Think of Einstein. I love Einstein. He couldn't speak. He didn't speak until he was 4. So they didn't think he was quite of normal intellect, and he was actually expelled from school, and the teacher said he was mentally slow. He only did a few years of school. So think about that. Michael Jordan, we spoke about him, how many times he failed in the sport, and also he was cut from his high school basketball team and said, oh no, he lacked skill. Stephen King, 30 rejections. The guy who started the company Honda, he was not given a job at Toyota. Didn't think he was any good. The woman who wrote Harry Potter, she was rejected by 12 publishing houses. Many people wouldn't go back after 2 or 3. So you got to persist. As I say, you got to persist, and you will either succeed in the thing you want or stumble through that process into the right thing for you. But don't turn and stop. Like, don't turn the other way or give up. And then, of course, we spoke about Edison 10,000 times. Just quickly, I want to talk about 3 stages of failure, and then we'll go to the meditation. Especially this is relevant to work or your own personal life, or if you have your own business, either one. You got stage 1, which is the failure of tactics. Stage 2 is the failure of strategy. And stage 3 is the failure of vision. So tactics is how you do things. So for example, a company may have a very good vision. They want to be the best telecommunications company in Australia. They have a very good strategy. That's what they do. So they know how to execute, how they meet their market, how they deliver their goods. That's their strategy. But if their little tactics on what they're doing day in and day out in their processes are poor and full of opportunities to make mistakes, the thing's going to fail because of the tactics. So to overcome that and to succeed on stage 1 is record all your processes. This is for you at work, in your own life, even in your own personal health life, whatever it may be. Record your process, measure your outcomes, and then review and adjust your tactics. So once you've got a process and you're measuring things, if it doesn't work, you improve it and change it, and then you just keep going round and round and keep adjusting and improving. The second thing is there are 3 primary ways to fix the failures of strategy. So let's say you go to market and the thing doesn't work. This is the way to succeed. Launch it quickly, do it cheaply, and revise it rapidly. So don't take long and say, oh, it doesn't work, and just do nothing. It doesn't work. A year goes by, 2 years goes by. So Starbucks coffee for 10 years actually sold coffee and espresso machines and failed through this process and kept refining and changing their strategy until they opened stores. And look at Starbucks today. Amazon had an auction platform when they started. It was a failure. They closed it down. A few years later, they did it again. It failed, closed it down. A few years later, they opened Amazon Marketplace. Huge success. It accounts for billions of dollars in the company. That's because they launched it quickly, they did it cheaply, and revised it rapidly. And the last one is failure of vision. The 3 ways to fix that is, this is very important now for your life, your business, if you work for yourself, but if it's just your life, this is important for everybody. Failure of vision. They say without vision, people perish. It's so important for you to have a vision, a clear vision of where you want to go in life. And many people avoid doing this task as something that they have to actually write out. My advice is just stop, take stock of your life where you are. Sometimes it takes a catastrophe to force people to take stock of their lives. It happened to me. I was successful in a corporate job. I was just working day in and day out, real hard, long hours, making good money. But I had no idea what my purpose was and where I was going. When my brother passed away, I stopped and had to take stock of my life. And it was that. It completely changed my life. And as sad as it was, because tragedy, in hindsight now, because it's 8 years ago, it's been my biggest blessing because it forced me to take stock of my life. So for you, don't wait for a catastrophe. Take stock of your life. Make sure you take the time to work out what it is that you are passionate about, what it is that you love to do, what are your values. Do a values test. They're online for free, a Barrett's values test. Do it. Come to know yourself. Where do you feel most valuable? Where do you feel your life is most meaningful? And work out what is a vision for your life. When my brother passed away and I created a new vision for myself, it was based on my values and it was based on my passion. And I just said, I don't know what it is that I need to be doing, but I want my life to count. That's all. I want the next 10 years to be very, very meaningful. This in my corporate job, I don't know if I disappeared tomorrow, would they even miss me? That was my feeling. So when it comes to fixing your vision, the primary ways to fix the failure of your vision is take stock of your life, determine your non-negotiables, and that means what are your values? Make sure you're living in alignment with your values, otherwise you're betraying yourself, and that just, you'll never be happy. And lastly, navigate criticism. You have to get rid of the fear of criticism. You're going to face it, especially when you're following your own dream. Make yourself bulletproof and tell yourself you don't care what other people think, you're living your own life. And then lastly, it says that if you never decide on a vision for your life, you'll often find yourself living someone else's dream. So on that, vision is so important. Let me just see the comment. What is the online test for the values again, please, Janine? I don't know if it's Barrett, the Barrett's test, or Barrett's test. I don't know the spelling, but it's a free online test. You know, the more you can do to learn and get to know yourself, the better. This book, my book, Living in the Flow, it's a guide to discovering your purpose and your value in this world. And the reason that I'm obviously wrote it, but I'm passionate about the subject because before I found my life purpose, I was 42 when I did. I kept feeling there's got to be more to life than this. Every couple of years, I'd have the same thing come over me. There's got to be more to life than this. The minute I found my life purpose, that thing's gone. And you step into another world where your life has meaning and you feel that you are and should develop more of your potential because the purpose that you have is greater than just serving you. So I'm just mentioning that start with your vision. Get a vision if you haven't done it already and write it out. Read it often, review it often, and know what it is that you really want to create. And don't be afraid of making it big. My suggestion is make it bigger than what you actually think it is. You know, like shoot for the moon. You know, they say if you miss, you'll land up amongst the stars. That's my advice, is definitely work on your vision. Okay, just in summary, to deal with failure, recognize and accept your emotions. It's going to hurt. It doesn't feel good. Accept it. Process them. And journal, write it out and ask, what did you learn? What did you learn? What did you learn? Don't make it personal. It doesn't mean you're a failure. It just means it was an experience. It's like a test and learn. The experience didn't work. Okay, you're going to improve and get better. Don't worry about what other people will think. Get rid of that. Take 100% responsibility for everything in your life. This will actually give you more motivation to live your dreams if you take 100% responsibility. Never blame anyone for anything. Use failure to improve. Success is a process. So recognize failure is a necessary part of the process. Otherwise, people, I hope that's been super helpful for you. I hope you enjoyed that. Just to end off the last quote here, I love James Allen. And he says this: all that a man achieves and all that he fails to achieve is the direct result of his own thoughts. It was a couple of years ago, I was going through a very rough time and it felt like circumstances were happening to me. And I got this book of James Allen and I got this line, and I promise you, it used to play in my head like a broken record all day long. In the middle of the night, I'd wake up and that same sentence would go through. It was this line: all that a man achieves and all that he fails to achieve. And I thought, is it my own thoughts? And I had to come to own 100% my responsibility for my negative thoughts creating all the problems I was going through. And I had a lot of problems a few years ago with things going wrong. And it's true. It is our own thinking. Our thinking is everything. Everything. It's the beginning and end of your success or failure. And there at the bottom it says, they who have conquered doubt and fear have conquered failure. Conquered. And that includes the fear of failure. We have to conquer the fear of failure. And then we conquer fear. Because it's the fear of failure, then you conquer failure. Okay. So that's it from me for tonight. Are there any questions before I move on with what's coming up, and then we'll meditate? No? Yes? No? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, very much.
Okay. Good, good. All right, what's coming up? So someone wrote here something. Yes, thank you, Sam. Thank you, thank you. So just to share with you, there's a mastermind coming up starting on the 21st of October. It's on the book As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. It's really a phenomenal book. It's the shortest book I've ever read. It's only 25 pages or something. It takes 40 minutes to read, but it's one book you can study for a lifetime. And this book, I can promise you, is transformational. The early bird, by the way, ends tonight. I just realized that it happened to be the same day. So if anyone is thinking about it and you want to have the early bird price and you don't want to go through the whole registration process, then at least let me know or message me or tell me now, and I'll hold the price. So if you want to book in tomorrow, you can do that. Don't have to do it so late tonight. So As a Man Thinketh, a 6-week mastermind. It's exceptional value, guys. Even at $3.99, I promise you, this is the book that was part of my personal transformation. The 2 books that I think are the best personal development books of all time, and one of them is this one, and the other one is Think and Grow Rich. And that's why I keep teaching them over and over again. They really are excellent to come to know who you are. Then I've got another mastermind starting on the 6th of October on the 15 invaluable laws of growth. There are a few spots left. Just this quote from John Maxwell. He says, people are never able to outperform their self-image. It's like a lid on how much you can achieve. So to improve your self-image, you need to grow. And if you think growth is automatic, I'm here to tell you growth is not automatic. Yes, you have problems in your life and we do tend to grow somewhat from them, but growth has to be intentional and has to be planned and has to be in accordance and alignment with what you're trying to achieve and where you want to go. And there's some blind spots for everybody in a growth journey. So this book is all about those 15 laws of growth, meaning they're laws, they apply regardless who you are, regardless of your beliefs, they apply. Okay, this coronavirus travel restrictions has come to, well, to give me the opinion that this out of this world 4-day retreat is going to be postponed because people can't travel. So I'm postponing it. I don't know till when. I'm just waiting to see when or what. It might even be into next year. If it is, it might be a blessing in disguise because I'm currently in negotiations with the most amazing opportunity of a guest speaker coming out from overseas. I won't say too much now until it's concluded, but if that does happen, that person will have one whole day in Out of This World 4-day event. So for those who don't know what that is, Out of This World is a holistic learning 4-day retreat, something you've never done before, holistic learning. Hardly anyone in the world does it. There are apparently only 2 people. So it's a creating experiences, and from the experiences you learn. So that's that. Oops. And then just to tell you the silver method, we've got some events. One is starting on Thursday. If anybody wants to join, you still can jump in. Then there's an online one for anyone outside of Sydney on October 22nd to the 25th. That's another opportunity for people, and it also saves you money. You don't have to travel, but you can do it from the comfort of your own home. So Jackie, who's on here tonight, she did Silver Online a few weeks ago, and from what I could gather from your feedback and the others, it was really a wonderful experience. And even for myself, it was better than I expected. So if that's an opportunity for someone, there's Silver Kids. It's only Life Systems. It's just geared towards kids on the 2nd and 3rd of October. It's for ages 8 to 12. If anybody wants to know more about that, contact me. And then there's a Silver Method live class over 2 weekends in November. So those are the schedules coming up. Okay, so for now, let's do a quick meditation. Oh, just quickly is, I'm running a program in December called the Confident Communicator for Teens. So I haven't worked out the exact dates of it yet, but it will be in December. And it's a system of becoming a very engaging and entertaining communicator. And this is very easy to teach to teenagers or anybody, even adults, because it's a system. And I myself am a multi-award winning Toastmaster. So behind me there are all my trophies. So I was in Toastmasters for a few years and went up to national level, which is called district level. I was one of the top 10 speakers in Australia. So it's my passion to help youngsters learn how to communicate. So if anyone's interested in that, let me know. Okay, now let's meditate. So for this meditation, if you're new, please grab yourselves a pen and paper and have it comfortably resting on your lap, that you have to move as little as possible, because I'm first going to do a fractional relax with a bit of visualization on how to relax, imagining a nice waterfall, relaxing you and cleansing your energy field. And then at the end, I'm going to ask you just 3 short questions whilst you're in meditation, which is what is your intention for the month ahead? And whatever pops in your head, your first impressions, you just open your eyes and you write them down. Then you close your eyes again, go back in meditation. Then the next question, what steps you need to take you closer to what you want to do? And the next question after that is, what do I need to let go of or release? And whatever comes up for you, you just write that down. So I'll just quickly play some music. Okay, I'm just going to put everybody on mute, so it's nice and quiet. Okay. So this is just to relax. Just the goal for you is just relax, follow the instructions, don't try too hard, just relax. And towards the end of it, it's about 15 minutes. When I ask you the questions, don't overthink it, don't analyze, just write your first impressions, and you should get answers from your intuition, not from your logical mind. Logic's the opposite of intuition, and that's what you want. You want to get your higher self, your intuition, whatever name you want to give it, the answers from that part of you. Okay. And now, okay. So find a comfortable position. Close your eyes. Take a nice deep belly breath. And as you exhale, blow out through your mouth like you're blowing out a candle, and just relax. Take another deep breath. And as you exhale, just let all the tensions in your body release and float away. Take another deep breath. And as you exhale, feel the tension leaving the top of your head from your scalp. Relax your scalp. Relax your forehead. Relax your eyes. Relax your cheeks. Relax your tongue and jaw. Take in another nice deep breath, and as you exhale, relax your shoulders, arms, and hands. Take another deep breath, and as you exhale, relax the tension in your back. Relax your back from your neck to the end of your spine. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, relax your chest. Taking a nice, slow, deep breath, and as you exhale, relax your abdomen. Relax your hips and pelvic area. Relax your thighs. Relax your knees. Relax your calves. Relax your feet. All the way down to your toes. You are now experiencing a deep state of relaxation. Now you're going to create in your mind an ideal place of relaxation. It can be real or imagined, somewhere that you've been, or somewhere that you'd like to go. Just allow it to be a place where you feel totally relaxed. Begin to experience this place of relaxation right now. Now that you've created your ideal place of relaxation, you're going to add a waterfall of light into the scene. Place it wherever you choose. The waterfall is gentle, allowing you to stand under the cascading white light. This light is a healing energy, a clearing energy. Your waterfall of white light is now created. Walk over to the waterfall and stand under this white healing light. Allow the white light to swirl around you, encompassing you within its glow. It is clearing all the stress and the tension away. Feel it clearing not only the tension, stress, and clutter of the day, but also the past week, the past month, this past year, and of your entire lifetime. Feel it clearing all that stress and tension from your entire energy field, from your atmosphere, from your aura. As this waterfall of light clears your energy field, just notice how much happier you look. Notice the smile on your face. see how the weights that you've been carrying are no longer a burden. Notice how your energy field is expanding out as you are radiating love. This waterfall of light is always available to you whenever you need it. All you need to do is close your eyes and imagine your ideal place of relaxation and immerse yourself in this healing white light. Now take a deep breath, relax and go deeper, and repeat these beneficial statements to yourself mentally. Every day, in every way, I am getting better, better, and better. Positive thoughts, suggestions, and images bring me benefits and advantages I desire. I will always maintain a perfectly healthy body, mind, and immune system. The following statements are for your better health. Keep in mind, from now on, I will be speaking in your place. Every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every cell, tissue, organ, and system of my body is revitalized, restored, and renewed, resulting in a perfectly healthy body, mind, and immune system. I'm able to function in harmony, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to promote maximum benefits. My awareness in using my mind allows me to do activities that promote increased health, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Now imagine the white light turns to green. You are now immersed in a glowing green light. This green light is unconditional love. This unconditional love surrounds you. It encompasses you. It flows through your entire being. It fills you with love. All those hurts you felt, all those pains you felt, the angry moments, allow this green light, this unconditional love, to heal all those spaces now. You are an amazing human being. You deserve love. You deserve joy. You deserve abundance. And you deserve peace. It is now time to step out of the waterfall. Step out of the waterfall of light. Your energy field is now clean and clear. You are centered. You have clarity. You are able to focus more easily. You feel you're in the flow of universal love and energy. Take a moment now to bask in this feeling of connectedness. You have now reset your body and mind for the month. It is now time to set your intention for the month ahead, the month of September. Tune in to your higher wisdom or your higher self. That part of you that when you tuned in guides you and intuitively knows what is best for you. Now ask yourself the following questions. What do I need to focus on for the month of September? Whatever comes to mind, write it down, then take a deep breath and close your eyes and re-enter the meditation. What do I need to focus on for the month of September? Next question. What steps do I need to take me closer to what I want to do, be, or have? Write down your first impressions. What steps do I need to take me closer to what I want to be, do, or have? And the last question. What do I need to let go of? Write down your first impressions. What do I need to let go of? And lastly, just ask yourself, is there anything else? Is there anything else you need to know or do? Is there anything else? And allow a nice big deep breath, and as you exhale, relax. I'm going to count from 1 to 5. At the count of 5, you'll open your eyes, be wide awake, feeling fine, in perfect health, feeling better than before. 1, 2, 3, coming out slowly now. 4, 5. Eyes open, wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health, feeling better than before. Okay, welcome back everybody. I'll unmute all your mics. I hope you enjoyed that. Anybody want to share anything Did you get any answers? Anybody? Raise your hand. Good. I hope they were helpful. If it's new to any of you, if this is your first time doing this, trust the answers that came to you. Don't trust your logical mind. Trust the answers that came, because at the very relaxed level, you're in alpha and you've got access to your intuition, and your intuition always guides you right. So thank you, everybody. Are there any questions or anything? Otherwise, I want to thank you so much for your participation. Thank you for taking the time out to join Meaningful Monday. I honor you. I commend you. It means you improving yourself, continuously growing and learning. And I think that's fantastic. So kudos to you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all of you being on this webinar. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Janine.
Thank you, Janine.
Thank you.
Nice.
Have a
Bye,
good
Jim.
night.
Take care.
Bye bye, everyone.